welcome back again to the Ladies Lounge. It's your girl, Moso.
And Dorinda Alexander.
And of course, oh, you about to skip me already?
No, I was finna say we have an unusual guest.
Unusual?
Because he's not of the ladies.
But definitely not. Definitely not.
He I guess today. Introduce yourself.
If you don't know who the hell I am, that's your fault. But Cloud played the third AK to Phoenix. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, that's okay. All right then. He's been on one today. Just know he's been on one, maybe 2 and 3 and 4. But I digress. So, I was thinking about today's topic, and today's topic had me kind of just, I didn't know what to talk about. So, what I came up with is talking about when do you know is enough of trying to give people the benefit of the doubt and grace in your life, no matter what aspect. And it can not even people, it could be a job, anything. When do you know enough is enough? When do you know that you're worth more than that, or trying to prove to a job, a person, for any type of relationship? When do you know is enough for you? That's the topic we're going with. That's what I came up with. So, yeah.
So, for me, I guess it all just depends on who I'm dealing with, what they have going on, how much I care about the person. But most importantly, the biggest factor for me is going to be how are they making me feel internally. Because I struggle enough on my own with my own insecurities and mental health and, things like that. So I don't need anybody in my life that's going to contribute to it. I only want people around me that's going to help build it, because it's a battle all in of itself, just fighting myself on my own negative thoughts. So if a person is bringing toxicity into my life and they are making me question anything about my worth or my well-being or anything about anything that I have going on, really, that's when I have to figure out where I'm going to draw my boundary. Now, I am also real big on having the conversation with the person. I feel blank when this happens. I feel blank when that happens. I felt blank when you said whatever. This is what I need from you to not feel that way. I can only give you so many chances, though, because if I feel like I'm trying my best to communicate effectively and get the point across, and you say you understand, but the behavior is not changed, it's time for me to go.
Makes sense.
And I would definitely piggyback which DOA just spoke to, because it's pretty relevant, this particular topic, to me personally. At the age of 40, I know JD kind of talks shit, he, in his mind, I'm 60 or 70 years old. But definitely how I feel in the moment when this takes place, because sometimes I feel like shit, like, damn, I've given a lot, and damn, you still doing this to me? And like, I'm processing that in the moment, realizing how I feel, because my therapist will say, live in the moment for 15 minutes, recognize how you feel, and then, of course, build upon it and move forward productively. And so, I don't really have much time to waste. I'm trying not to waste it. It's hard. It's easier said than done. And I'm still, even myself currently, dealing with that, trying to not only giving grace, but at the same time being realistic. Like, people are who they are at this point, especially in our age range. What they give you, what they show you, is who they are, because you are making a conscious decision to be who you are. I mean, there's plenty of information, feedback. You know what's best, what's good, what's not. So it's like, why are you still doing this? So back to me, I'm definitely trying not to waste too much more time, because it's not beneficial to me the day of, long term, and overall, because it's hurting me it's hurting me overall. It definitely hurting me. Right. And I ain't got time to be. I hate. No one likes feeling like shit.
Yeah.
It's not good.
And at some point, I said this to you earlier, at some point you have to determine for yourself if that holding on to them is if it's enabling like their poor behavior or their lack of growth, their lack of trying to build healthy patterns in relationships. Because sometimes we can hold on to toxic far too long. I've been there, done that too many times.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I think in my situation, when it comes to the fact that I know I am very emotionally intelligent, and it is hard to find an emotionally intelligent person. You have people that can give that off, but when you get to kind of peeling back the layers of them, you kind of realize they're not where you are in some aspect. They kind of where you want to give them grace, because if I've grown to this point and I can see that, I guess you can call this kind of potential, I can see that you are growing, are you worth me walking through it with you? Because me knowing that I did a lot of my healing on my own, and how sometimes it would have been so much easier if I was going through something and somebody understand is not to take it personal and just to help me go through it. I think that's what has a chokehold on me, is the fact that I can see that you are growing. And maybe if I just be, continue to be me and not take anything that you're doing personal, because if I know I'm treating you how you're supposed to be treated, I'm not going to let what you're feeling and going through rub me the wrong way, because I have nothing to do with it. So in my sense, maybe if I know I've not done anything to you and you're trying to grow, and I see potential in your growth, because I know we don't like to really do potential, but I think when it comes to growth, you can kind of look at that potential if you see that person is moving towards becoming a better person. Because everybody needs, I think that's what, and with me, that's where my grades come in, because if I can see that you are growing, I can't tell you that you have to be to a certain stage at a certain point, because growth is an individual thing that we do.
That's the key word, though. Putting in that work. If you are making the necessary decisions in your life to do the growth, then it is a lot easier to hold on to that person, because that's not necessarily toxic. You're meeting them where they are, and y'all can grow together, and you'd be able to help them out of that. But it's a lot of people that don't want to put in the work, and that's when you have to say, okay, you can. I'm real big on trying to. There's a fine line, and I'm learning this with my own therapist. There's a fine line between learning a person's history and past and understanding where they are coming from versus understanding their past and their current behaviors and patterns of how they treat you, and using it to make an excuse for them.
Correct.
So it's one thing to understand where they come from, try to work with them and see them putting in the work to heal and get better. It's another thing for you to, they're not putting in any of that work, they're not doing the healing that they need to do, and you just go, oh, it's because so-and-so went through this as a child, and so I understand that you're just making excuses for them, because at the end of the day, it's going to be up to them to put in the work, and so that's where that's the key part.
To follow up what you just spoke to, because this is my follow-up with that, and this is for people watching at home, right? What do you recommend, or what is the timeline? Okay, you've already recognized what this person may have went through as a child, as a young adult, and where they are currently, right? But when you personally are going through your own emotions and how you feel towards whatever this person is giving you, how much time do you really just genuinely give this person? If you've already expressed yourself, you've shown your value, right? You've shown that how genuine you are, the benefits of you are to this person in their life, but they're not seeing the vision, they're not receptive to what you're giving them. How much longer do you give this person?
I mean, me personally, I don't really have a timeline on, I'm going to give them 3 months, 6 months. It's I don't have a timeline like that. To me, it's situational. It's going to depend on the person and my feelings towards them. There's been times that I've been dating someone and I'm learning about their past, and they don't make it past 2 months or 2 months, whereas there's somebody else that I genuinely see the good parts of them, and I understand their reactions to things based off of their past, and I'm holding on for 8 months. That's damn near a year. So I've been in both situations, but the breaking point for me was how it made me feel on the inside.
Yes.
And like how it was playing with my own mental. Because like I said, I struggle enough on my own with my own negative thoughts about myself or any situation that I'm in that I don't like right now. And I am easily influenced by the person that I care about and how they treat me. So if I deeply care about you and you're not treating me right, I'm going to end up questioning myself about that, and that's not okay because I'm working hard to overcome that.
That's why it comes to when I say, and I understand it. That's why I got to the point where I treat people the way they want to be treated. How they're not even how they want, how you're supposed to treat somebody that you love. So if you're being mean or however you're treating me, then, and I know in my heart that I've done what I'm supposed to, I don't take it personal. Even I know, like you're saying, it's hard, but if I know that I was genuine and you're still attempting to make me feel bad or trying to play victim, then that lets me know it's you.
Right.
Not saying it's not going to make me feel bad, but it makes me feel less bad if I know that I've done everything on how a person is supposed to treat somebody that they're with, and you're still not happy, which means you're not happy with yourself.
Right. And I understand that from it, because that's absolutely right. Absolutely right. For me, though, it comes from, it's not just that person, it comes from my past and some things that have been said to me by people who are supposed to be some of the most important people in my life and who are supposed to care for me the most.
Right.
So it's like a double battle. So if I already have to battle that by myself, I damn sure don't need the person.
Like that person.
Yeah, you're adding. Yeah, you're triggering that, and it's not necessarily saying that that's their fault, but it would be my fault if I continue to allow them to like trigger me and allow them to play that role when they're not doing the work.
Correct.
Okay.
That's where I would have to draw that boundary. But it's not just, I'm not going to put it all on that person. I know where my trigger comes from.
Right.
I know exactly where it comes from.
Right.
But like I said, I already have to fight hard enough just with myself. So why make it harder by trying to hold on to someone that clearly doesn't want to be held on to?
Right. And I think that's the key. It's like when you've known that you've done and you've tried and you talked and you talk, that's when it comes to the point that you have to put yourself first, because if you're talking and you're trying and you're compromising and you're giving the person grace and nothing you're doing is working, that's when you have to come to the realization that this is not the person for you, because like we know that relationships are going to have ups and downs and it's hard, but keeping the relationship together is not the ups and downs that you're supposed to go through. Like when two people have made the conscious decision to become in a relationship and you want this relationship to last, the last thing should ever be on the table is us breaking up. Now you're gonna have issues and this and that, but breaking up should not be the issue. That should, everything we're going through should not lead us to thinking that I still want to be with this person.
Real follow-up question for both of you ladies, and even for the viewers at home. So, okay, you're getting enough data, right? You know exactly what this person is. You tried every avenue and approach to bring a solution to what currently is going on. The fear of the elimination of this person and the void that was there but not there currently, because you know you have a void there. Speak to the fear of, like, now,
The fear of letting go.
that part, and also now that the person is gone from your life, the absence of whenever you're looking to fill that void, like that's a fear.
I think that's why a lot of people stay in relationships in fear of being by themselves.
Yes.
Because again, nobody wants to be by themselves, but you should better put enough within yourself and love yourself enough that you should be okay with saying I'm by myself, but you should be okay with saying I'm okay with being by myself, because we all know we're not meant to be by ourselves. That's just like we have to eat, we have to sleep, we have to, everything that's a necessity. Yes. We're not meant to be by ourselves, but the fact that we came in this world by ourselves and we're leaving by ourselves, at some point in time we are by ourselves, and you have to be okay with that, because what happens and what I find is a lot of times when people are not content with being by themselves, that's why we get in bullshit ass relationships and put up with a lot of stuff, because we haven't sat with ourselves and we're not okay with our own company.
That's deep, but that's the truth. 100%. People don't love themselves enough. You have to love yourself more than you love the person that you're with, because if not, you're going to let them treat you however they want to treat you.
Real quick, sis, what you just said is very deep, right? Because I talk to myself personally. I pride myself in that I love myself a lot. Not being cocky, it's just from what I've been through personally and where I am today, I very confident I love myself. But what you just said, that's a hard pill to swallow, to like come to realization like, fuck, I thought I loved myself, but do I really
love yourself enough to set your boundary? So
with that said, like people watching home, even from the mindful minutes, like, ugh, the genuine steps, and then I guess come to like accepting that you may not love yourself as much as you think you do. Can you speak to that real quick?
I mean, it just is what it is. It's just a part of the healing process, but there's a lot of factors that play into your own thoughts from yourself, and the part that needs to heal to get to that I love myself fully is the shadow work that people talk about.
Yeah.
Because it could be, there's stuff that you probably don't even realize that triggers you to that point, but it's all going to be related to something that happened in childhood, most likely. It's going to be something a parent, a sibling, a cousin said to you, something that even maybe a teacher said to you at school, it's some kind of something there that is going to have you to where, like for me, I have trust issues big time, and even attachment issues sometimes, like that codependency. I used to be very codependent on my relationships, and I've grown from that, but it took work from that. It was like those attachment styles that I had spoken on before. It all plays a role, but there's a root that manifests that tree in your life, and until you figure out what that root is, like I was saying on the mindful minutes with accountability and adjusting the sails to the wind, you got to identify what those things are, because without identifying those things, you can't combat those things. You can't take the I'm not worthy to I am worthy.
And that's being nice to yourself. Like
yes.
Being nice to yourself.
Yes.
You can recognize what took place, addressing the trauma, moving forward with that progress, but still be nice to yourself to grow from that particular trauma. To build that foundation.
Yes, I said it before in a mindful minute that you are the person that you spend 100% of your day with. From the time you open your eyes and even throughout your dreams. You are with yourself 100% of the time. So you need to be the nicest to yourself at all times. Now, when you deal with what people don't talk about, anxiety and depression are two of the biggest mental health issues that affect all of America. And when you are not properly managing that mental health part, you can be mean to yourself and not even realize it. You can be very, very harsh and mean to yourself without even realizing it. And then even though you may not be saying it out of your mouth, you're thinking it in your head, and that's still energy. And that's energy that is going to bring your vibrations low. And then that's when you are going to start attracting that same negative energy to your life. So that's why affirmations are important. That's why any part of the healing journey is going to be hard. You're going to have to get deep. It's going to be raw, but you got to go through it to get to the other side, to where you can say, I fully love myself, to say, no, you are not going to treat me this way. I draw my boundary right here, and I'd be damned if I let anybody cross it. And the boundary can always be moved where it needs to be moved according to who you're dealing with.
And then not only that, a lot of times when we do heal, we don't know if we've really done the work until you get into a type of relationship like that. And that's the scary part, because when it's just like anything that you're trying to get over or work towards, you really can't apply it until you're in a situation where all your work has to be put into use. So it's like a lot of times, like staying single for a long time is not necessarily a good thing, because if you think staying single and healing is enough, you're sadly mistaken. You have to heal, then get back in the situation, not with the same person, but a different person to see if you actually done the work. Like,
Go ahead.
oh, I was you.
Afford.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so it's just like I think that everybody does need to heal, but to be completely healed is when you get in a situation and something that used to trigger you does not trigger you anymore. When you can acknowledge that, hey, what you're saying is it would normally trigger me, but because I worked on it, I don't even get offended.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
So also, once that work is done, that's realized, and you're going forward with that particular step that you spoke to, there's definitely a person or people in general, like celebration in the sense where, like, okay, I'm ready.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. Let's enjoy the rest of whatever it may be. So, I mean, I would definitely highlight those. If you've done the work, you're in the position where you can move forward. You know, enjoy yourself. Enjoy it. Because, like, you know, we spoke before, and this is my opinion, you know, God built us to be together. Men and women, or whatever the relationship you choose to go forward with. You're not supposed to be by yourself.
No, we're not.
It's a beautiful thing where you wake up, go to bed, or you just throughout the day engage with someone. You go out there, you work hard, you accomplish, you conquer. But when you come home, there's a place of peace and solace. Like, oh my God, I can't wait to be with this person. Enjoy, explain, decompress, whatever. It's just a beautiful thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're gonna take a quick break, and we're gonna come back and touch on the subject just a little bit more, because I feel like I have something to say, and I hope the two wonderful people that are here with me today have some more. See, I told y'all. I'm not gonna let him trigger me. How about that?
Oh.
Trigger. You hear that doing that? You hear that? The trigger.
He's not gonna make me combative. That's what he's not gonna do. We'll be back in a few minutes. We're gonna reset.
4, 3.
And we are back to the second half of the Ladies Lounge. I hope you guys enjoyed our first segment of it. We're still on the topic about when is enough is enough. And we're pretty much all over the place, but it's okay, because that's when you get your best content, when you're all over the place. I'm just saying.
But now I kind of just left off just like, you know, once you've done the work, you recognize where you're at, and also you start to accept where you are. If you find someone that is on the same page or have done the work as well, it's a beautiful thing to look forward to each day, each month, the years to come. But we need to get there.
But here's my thing.
Yes, ma'am.
If you go back and look at history,
Okay.
that and how relationships, and we're gonna speak with black people in their relationships, because I can't speak on other people's relationships.
Okay.
Majority of the time, up until now, we're getting to the point where a lot of our relationships were in survival mode, because we were surviving the world. We were just trying to keep our kids alive. We were just trying to keep each other alive. We were trying not to offend white people so we won't die. So it's like now we're getting to the point where, even though we still have racism and stuff, it's not as thick as it used to be. So being that it's not as thick as it used to be, we are now in a situation where we have to deal with our emotions. Because back then, emotions were the very last thing you ever dealt with in life, because we didn't have time to process the thing we went through. Because, yeah, such and such might have cheated, or he might have been abusive, but like he made sure everybody was fine, or she might not have been a good mother, but so it's now it's like everything that we didn't have to deal with, we have to deal with, and that's why things are so misconstrued and messed up, because it's like we go to work now, we're able to speak up for ourselves. If our kids have issues at school, we're able to be their voice. It's no longer, we don't have detrimental consequences when we speak up. So it's like now I can go to work, stand up for myself, still keep my job. I can go to school, stand up for my child, and my child don't get ostracized. Or if they do, I can come back and you're going to have to pay for these consequences. So when we get home, now it's like we have to work on ourselves, because it ain't just it's us against the world. Like, we're against each other because we don't know how to deal with our emotions, because we've never been taught to deal with them. We're just getting to the point where we are being taught to deal with our emotions, and understanding that just because you hurt me, so you should sit down and listen to the hurt, so you won't have to hurt me anymore, instead of just saying, well, all you do is complain. I'm not complaining. It goes both ways, because if you look at it from a male's perspective, women have to understand that men have the same emotions that we have, and they should be allowed to cry. They should be allowed to, as men say, complain, because emotions are not just for women. Emotions are for men and women. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, throughout history, y'all have not been able to express your emotion less than us. So now, when you have men that express themselves, they are considered bitches, and why are you in your feminine, and this and that. And so it's like, it's so much that we're dealing with each other, that women have to understand men should have the same grace to have breakdowns and 2-year-old tantrums just like we should. Because it's harder for y'all to deal with y'all emotions than this, because women have always been able to be emotional. Even through slavery, a woman has always...
It's expected to a degree.
Yeah, women have always been able to express ourselves. Even if you go back to slavery, when the slave master had a slave that they liked, she was able to get her way with being emotional with this man. So it's like, now we have to give y'all the safe space to be emotional, because at the end of the day, and I know this is kind of a man... not saying that they lead us, but a man is supposed to be a leader, but we are their backbone to make them good leaders.
Definitely the balance. It's necessary.
So it's like, because I mean, think about it. As a woman, all you hear women saying now is that I'm ready to be in my soft girl era. I want to be soft. I want to be soft. And back in the day, a lot, like, women, we were the foundation of the house, but men allowed us to be in our soft spot, where if we told a man about a problem, he'd be like, don't worry about it, I'll fix it. And we didn't think nothing else about it. So it's like, now it's like, when we tell a man a problem, he can't fix it. So it's like, it leads us to stay. It's like it's a shift, and some things we shouldn't have went away from, and some things is good that we are elevating, if that makes sense.
No, I'm tracking.
So it's like, I feel like we should let men get in their soft era, because shit, if we get tired of being hard, they should get tired of being hard. Just like when you have men that are like full-time fathers, they understand what women go through, that we get tired of being full-time mothers and we want to just say fuck them kids. It should be the same way. Men get tired of being soft. That's why you get some men, when they get with women, they get so vulnerable, and you can see the little boy in them, and they get it, and all they do is smile, because that's their soft boy era.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know if I made any sense. If I didn't, I'm sorry. It is what it is.
I was tracking what you was putting down.
You was picking up what I was putting down?
I'm pretty confident Dorinda was as well.
Yeah.
So it's like, I feel like I know this is crazy, but I feel like some roles are meant to be for who they're supposed to be, and that's how we have balance. Not saying we are not supposed to be equal, because we are supposed to be equal, but some roles are just meant for certain genders. And like, I should be able, you're my man, I should be able to tell you this, I got this problem and you should solve it. Just like if you come and be like, baby, this is something in the house I need fixing, I feel like it's like a balance. Yeah. You fix my outside problems, I fix your inside problem. Yin and yang.
So, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
So, but just to keep it centralized on enough being enough, whatever. Once that is established, there should definitely be communicated that, you know what, these are my boundaries. This is where I'm at currently. If person A can't meet those particular specifics, I'm going to continue to go in my direction, because I've done the work. I don't want to no longer deal with this particular part of my life no more, because I've been through X, Y, and Z. This is not positive to me. This is not productive. Either you do the work yourself, or good luck to you, but I'm going in this direction.
Yeah. Because,
once again, I'm big on time. We don't have time. We don't have much time to waste. like I said, granted, I could have another 40 years on this earth. With that said, man, I'm 40. I'm grown. I'm grown.
Even another 40 or 50 years.
I'm grown.
Not even just saying that, it's the fact the older you get, the more the wear and tear on your body, the more you're not getting ready to really enjoy the person you with. So,
because every Friday is important, every Tuesday is important, every week, every month is critical. Like if I was 17, 19 figuring this out, cool. It's expected. But at this age, god damn, what the fuck are we doing?
At this age, when you get in a relationship,
what the fuck are we doing?
Even if it's not going towards marriage, it should be going towards something serious to build. Like, because I mean, you can't say that a relationship is gonna last. That's
real quick though. This is a question. Shouldn't it be, or is encouraged that if we get involved to that degree, the plan should be forever. It should be like an extra strategy or looking for a way out in case of.
The reason why I say
because then you're going with expected failure.
No, that's not why I said it. I said the reason why I said that, you know, even if it's not marriage, because if you don't know this person,
what are we doing though, Monica?
That's what I'm trying to do.
Sorry.
Listen, Linda. Listen.
I'm listening, Linda.
If you are two individuals that know nothing about each other,
yes, ma'am.
The goal is to have a long-term relationship and maybe go to marriage. But what if y'all find y'all not compatible?
So you're right. However, from a man's perspective, if only with intentions, marriage should be on the table. Always.
I understand it, but I'm saying like if you're not compatible, it should be steps. Let's see.
Yes, ma'am.
If this relationship is going to make it to a certain time, okay, cool. Now let's go for a long term. It should be steps. Like,
yes, ma'am.
In your mind, yes, mostly everybody want to get married, but like let's take it in stages because
I agree with the stages, but I'm saying from a man's perspective, if I approach Mo, Dorinda, whoever, fill in the blank woman, date 1, date 2, the conversations had, especially at 40. I want a wife. I want to be a husband. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about this. I'm not fucking around. There's no secret.
I know exactly. It's the intention behind your pursuit is
yes,
what
ma'am.
You're getting at.
Yes, ma'am. So
just looking at, oh, she fine. I'm going to marry her. Let me go try to holler at her. It's not that. It's just the intention behind your pursuit is you are not going to pursue a woman unless you feel like just looks alone, I'm attracted to her enough to want to get to know her, go through the steps to see if we can get there. But your initial intention is marriage.
But then upon reflection through the conversation we just had on day 1 or day 2 and overall interactions let's say a month or 2.
Okay.
This woman may not be for me from a compatibility standpoint, but initially me as the man, husband, wife. Okay. That's all I'm looking for. There's no gray area.
But I understand that because not just, me as a woman, I'm not going to entertain anybody that I don't think could be a potential husband.
Yes.
That, I date with intention in that same regard.
I don't know, I guess because I know people can portray to be something.
Of course.
That I think that's where I was at with that.
Any interviewer is going to put on their best. Yes, I get it. First impressions is always there. Yeah. You're going to even lie your resume potentially. But you can't hide that bullshit forever.
No, you can't. 3 to 6 months.
It's going to reveal itself.
3 to 6 months.
Especially if you are grown and y'all, let's say for example, you and him are kind of going to each other's house. Yeah. You're seeing their lifestyle. Yeah. You can't live a facade forever. Especially in, like I said, 3 to 6 months, you're right. It's hard it is very hard to maintain a good lie. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's hard as fuck.
You gotta be a pathological lie to be able
even then though, if the person is pathological, the person who's getting the pathological energy, if you're not dumb or not naive, you can see through that shit easily. Like what the because you have lived your life, you understand what life should be and how things potentially should be. Yeah. You can't lie to yourself unless you're just a foolish individual. So it's like, come on. So yes. Go ahead, I'm sorry. No, so it's just like,
I'm gonna go back to something that you said earlier though about being single for a long time and how it's not necessarily healthy. No. I agree, but then also in a sense I don't agree because I think rushing into relationship after relationship and after relationship, you're not allowing yourself that space to one, heal, because regardless of how much of a tough outer shell people put on, it hurts to have to let go, especially if you cared. So if you jump straight into something else, you aren't healed.
Oh no, but that's not what I was saying. I was saying like if you say you healed, you like just being single for so long and not actually being with somebody to see if it actually works.
So I'm getting there. So like you're not allowing yourself to heal, but the problem is people get content without the healing process in the singleness. Right. And that's where you get the problem. If you are being proactive in the healing part of the singleness, then you take as long as you need to get there. And then once you feel like you're ready, you put yourself back out there, and it will be the true test of how ready you are and how you're not.
Correct.
But then also, so then you could realize that, okay, I'm 5 steps ahead of where I was this last time, but clearly in this area I still need some work.
Right.
So you definitely have to put yourself back out there again. But the problem in the long-term singleness is when you just get content with where you are without putting in the work to heal.
So real quick, follow what you just spoke to. Let's say a person is doing the work, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say there's 10 boxes they're trying to check off to get to the healing process, but they only did 8. Is it still fruitful to move forward with a relationship? Because you know what, you can't check every box realistically.
It's not a concrete yes or no. It's not that black and white, because it's going to depend on who the other person is and how they can respond to you, how they will respond to you, how you respond to them. Like, it's all situational, and it's going to be based on the person that you're dealing with. There's some situations where, you know, I'm going to have all 10 boxes checked before I can deal with this person and before they can deal with me.
Is that realistic, though? You think that's realistic? No. Okay, there you go. Thank you. Because, like, for those watching at home, because getting back to the time period, right? Trying to be by yourself, trying to just do the work, heal, but you still have the human, like, needs, obligations, and emotion. Like, I want to be with someone. So realistically, I'm gonna entertain he or she and try to start something. Like I said, to try to test it out, right? But they may have not. The work is done, but the 10 boxes may have been checked.
I think we talked about this before, or maybe we off camera about having to be 100% healed before you get with somebody. Like, if that's necessary. Didn't we talk about that?
We may have talked about offline, but go ahead. Elaborate further.
Just what you're saying is it's relating to that whole notion that I need to be 100% before I can get with somebody.
It may not be overall realistic to be 100%.
Yeah.
Because it's always work in progress. It's always a work in progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can think you're healed and somebody could say something, and it could be something that has never ever triggered you. And because it's that person and the emotions you feel for them and the words that they said, it triggers you.
Yeah. And you may revert back to just unfortunate situations, bad habits.
And let me also say, like, it's okay to be triggered. The problem isn't with the triggering, it's the response to the trigger that's going to define how
I agree. And I'm glad you said that, because that's good. Because someone watching home who, especially, let's say you've never been through this before, this is your first time, you may not recognize what you just spoke to or what you're about to allude to, but you may think you failed, or the situation is done, no hope for the future type shit, and you may just like pick up bad habits, unfortunately the bad decisions, and then you know life is what it is. So I'm glad you said that. It's very important.
Yeah.
Miss Mo, anything else?
Shit, I just been talking, you threw me out.
I'm sorry,
I had zoned out for a minute. I'm sorry, y'all.
I'm sorry, baby.
I had zoned out.
I will say link and everything that we have spoken about. Those are all of the things that you have to consider when drawing your boundary and knowing when you've had enough, when enough is enough for you. And it's not going to be black and white. It's going to be very situational and circumstantial. And yeah, it is.
Because it depends on, like, the biggest foundation of knowing when it's enough is how much you love that person.
Right.
Ooh, boy.
Because when you love, some people love hard.
And I do. I love hard.
If you love hard,
Is that a bad thing, really? Like, real quick.
It's a blessing and a curse. I say it all the time.
It is. I'm with the run on that because it's like
I agree.
When you love hard, it is hard for you to let a person go because you like, why won't you just let me love you?
Especially
like,
when you
why?
I speak for myself, right? I bring value. God has put things in me, not just for myself, but to give to others, right? Specific to an individual. Mm-hmm. When you know you can bring so much positive things to this person's life, but you're like, God damn, why they don't see it? Like, especially when you're showing it. There's literally value, there's verification, there's even clarity to see.
They see it, but they're not ready to receive it.
And so that gets to the point where, like, fuck. But then time passes by. Shout out to the thunder and the lightning that's coming through. But time has went by, right? Like 3, 4, maybe even 5 years. What the fuck? Like, did I waste my time? Was time wasted?
No, so in every situation, it's on purpose. And so there's something to be learned from it. It's either going to be a blessing or a lesson. It's going to be a lifetime or a short time.
Correct.
Period. And that short time could be 2 months. That short time could be a year. That short time could be 5 years. But at the end of the day, it's still short because it's not forever. But within that, there is something to learn and be learned.
This topic reminds me of an episode on Black Mirror where
shout out, that's one of my favorite shows.
Right, where these people got together and they could look and see how long they would be together.
That's a great episode. I know what you're talking about.
Yes,
they had to look,
and one couple decided to not to look. They just wanted to be in the moment and enjoy their self. Well, as long as they didn't look, I don't think they watch ever started. Well, the boyfriend decided to look, and he realized they only had 5 years together, and they were damn near done. And because he did that, then he couldn't focus on their relationship.
Correct.
Anymore.
It fucked them up. So, do you watch?
I don't, but it just made me think of like going in with intention part.
Yes, ma'am.
Because if you go in when it's almost kind of like going in thinking this isn't gonna work versus going in with the intention of marriage.
Correct.
That's a good physical representation of that, because at the back of your mind you're automatically thinking of a way out before you even get to a way. Because it's not, if that makes sense.
Yes, no, you're right. Because generally speaking, if you go in with, not saying you ladies, but if you go in with the intention or the mindset of a back door, X stays left as an option, you kind of never. Well, I don't say never. You may not put too much effort into making sure it works.
And that's how that episode of Black Mirror
correct.
It's like the people would get together and be like, oh, we got a year, so you want to just sit here and chill out for this year till it's time to move on to the next person? And it was like, sure.
No, you're right.
But when
great episode, when
that couple decided to not to look at their watch, they really got to know each other.
Yeah.
And till the man looked at the watch and then they separated. So, yeah.
And the theme of that episode, for those who, I really recommend watch Black Mirror. It's good. Netflix. 6 seasons. But live in the moment, enjoy the present. It's really about that episode for sure is enjoying the present. Not harbor too much on the past. The future's there, but enjoy the present. That was the main theme of that episode. Go ahead, I'm sorry. But good. Yeah.
But yeah, so that was our topic today, knowing when enough is enough, when you've had enough, when you've tried, when you've talked, when you've done the right things in a relationship, and the person you with is not ready, because I'm not going to say they don't want it, they're not ready to receive that type of love because they're not where they're supposed to be at. And that's when you have to make the decision that to move on. And if you are a certified lover boy, lover girl, that is hard because you really just, when you think you found your person, all you want to do is love your person and be happy with your person. And when you know you like it, is no, I feel like when you know you're to the point that you're in love, when you think about that person in every aspect of your life, like, because like in relationship, there's always temptations. There's always going to be somebody that's better than the person you're with. And when you make the decision that even though somebody can offer me whatever, is that person gonna give me what this person is giving me? That sense of peace, that sense of love, that sense of clarity. Being a safe space, and you have to make the decision every day to choose the person that you chose from day one. That's the biggest thing when you're in a relationship. Choosing the person that you chose from day one, no matter how they change and grow, because you're supposed to change and grow together. Mm-hmm. And when one person is not growing, or when the relationship is lopsided, it's never going to work. It's never going to work. No matter how bad you want it, it's never going to work.
Yep.
That's all I have to say.
Mm-hmm.
Choose who chooses you. Mm-hmm. And that's hard because you never know if that person really choosing you. That's hard.
And that's tough.
Mm-hmm. Love yourself enough to discern when you are enabling versus